Today we are bringing all of the MMA news straight to you. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels, and welcome back to everything that you missed in MMA this week. This is where we talk about all of the MMA news that happened this week. We're going to give you up to date on every single thing that's been going on, whether it's something big with Conor McGregor or a fight between two fighters that you have never heard about before. We're going to be talking about all of it in today's video with timestamps. So if you'd like to skip to any particular part, timestamps will be there if you'd like to use them. I would appreciate you guys watching whatever part that you'd like to. Guys, it's been a really slow week for UFC news. It's been a really slow week for MMA news in general, but hey, I'm here to give it to you anyways. Let's talk about MMA news. Let's get into the video. Starting off, Derrick Lewis has signed a new 8-fight deal with the UFC. In my opinion, there is absolutely no chance that he fights out these 8 fights because that's a lot of fights. And Derrick Lewis, actually, I couldn't believe that he got the win that he did. And seemed like he was really slowing down in his career. He's getting older now. I mean, like, it's cool that he's back in the UFC, or he's going to remain in the UFC, excuse me, but I can't see him sticking around. I think he's going to retire before those 8 fights are over. Also, what happened this week is a Contender Series Week 1 took place. Guys, you have to go check it out because there was some really high skill level fights in there. I really liked watching Cesar Almeida. I really liked watching a bunch of these fighters, and I feel like as the weeks go on, they're going to get a little bit better because I've watched a Contender Series before, and this week was, while don't get me wrong, like I completely enjoyed watching the Contender Series and everything, but I feel like there could have been better performances, and maybe that's what they're saving. I haven't really looked on who's that fighting on the Contender Series. I'm just here to tune into it anyways. I kind of have like that Dana White opinion of it where it's like I'm going to sit down, don't know anything about half these guys, and I'm going to watch them perform. So Contender Series Week 1 was great, guys. If you're skipping out on it, do not, especially if you're into betting in MMA, because you can get like a good judge on these guys before they actually have their debut fight into the UFC. So you got to check out the Contender Series, man. It's really good. Next piece of news I have for you. So Chris Curtis and Ian Garry were sparring, and there's a video that I won't show you because of copyright, but Ian Garry ended up kicking Chris Curtis in the ribs, and Chris Curtis is likely very injured right now. He said that he could feel his ribs moving, and then he was doing a really dumb thing trying to continue fighting with the rib, which I don't understand why fighters do that, man. Like, take care of yourself. It doesn't matter about your ego, you know what I mean? But Ian Garry, I kind of liked Ian Garry in the sense where he was like really looking out for Chris Curtis's health. So I hope everything's okay with Chris Curtis. The dude is very exciting to watch fight, but it looks, I would imagine he's not going to make it to his next fight, man. It seems like that's a serious injury. Moving on, we have all the drama with Dana White and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I made an entire video talking about this. If you would like to have me dive more deep into this, I will try to remember to put it on the card, but I don't hold me to that. But regardless, it's on the channel. So long story short, Wonderboy Thompson was still talking about how he hasn't been paid for his weight, I guess his opponent missing weight, in his canceled fight in the UFC. And Dana White was asked about it in a post-fight press conference for the Contender Series. And Dana White essentially said, he said a lot of things, to be honest with you, that goes along with it. But the main thing was, we don't pay you not to fight. And then I made a whole video talking about where I'm like, man, Stephen Thompson did his job. Like, you gotta at least give him his show money. But at the same time, it makes sense what Dana White's saying, where it's like, hey, we'll reimburse you for your camp, we'll take care of you, don't worry about it. But at the end of the day, Wonderboy did what he was supposed to do. And if it's not necessary, I don't know, that's the problem what I was talking about in the video. We don't know specifically what's in these fighters' contracts. So if it says you don't fight, you don't get paid, end of story, that's fine. But from the way we're looking at it, Wonderboy did his job. It's not his fault, and he should get paid his show money. But so that's the drama that's been going on with that this week. Speaking of Dana White, though, so Dana White also announced that Conor McGregor will be fighting Michael Chandler. And I know that's not necessarily like breaking news, but Conor McGregor has been talking about wanting to fight Justin Gaethje. He's been talking about how he's just been like, turns out he's kind of trolling Michael Chandler, where he's like, hey, I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to go fight someone else. I want to fight Charles Oliveira. McGregor's just been going wild tweeting, and he's been saying that he doesn't want to fight Michael Chandler. Like, he's just been tweeting like F Chandler and all that stuff. But Dana White said that McGregor's trolling. The next fight will be, and Dana White confirmed, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. So I cannot wait for that to get announced. That's going to be an absolute banger, guys. Okay, guys, let's get into all of the fight announcements this week. So a fight that is targeted is Yuri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira. I believe that was reported by Ariel Helwani, but this is not official yet. This fight looks like, I mean, it's probably going to get done anyways. But if you want to talk about, I don't know if you guys would like me to include this, okay? But I'm going to include it anyways. I'm not going to talk about it for long, but Dylan Dennis is fighting Logan Paul. MMA fighter fighting Logan Paul. So there you go. That's something. But Bellator 300 got announced. And Bellator 300 has Carmouche versus McFarlane, Bader versus Vessel, Nurmagomedov versus Primus, and Cyborg versus Ngannou. That is a very good Bellator card. 4 title fights on the card. When I first found out about that, I was like, no way. Bellator is having 4 title fights on one card. That's like absolutely unheard of. But then I found out that it was just 2 titles that nobody cares about and 2 really good titles. So it's essentially just your regular really good card with 2 title fights. And I was like, oh man. But still, Bellator 300 is going to be awesome. I love watching Bellator. So anyways, A few more fight announcements that we have for this week is Natan Levy versus Alex Reyes on September 16th. Jeff Neal, if you haven't heard, is out of his fight, and Neil Magny stepped in to fight Ian Garry, and both Basharat brothers are back. I am big fans of these guys. I'm completely on the Basharat hype train. So Javid Basharat is fighting Victor Henry on September 23rd, and Fareed Basharat is fighting Clayton Rodriguez on September 2nd. I absolutely love watching these two perform. I will be cheering for them. Nothing against Victor or Clayton, to be honest with you, but I just really like the Basharat brothers. It is an absolute privilege to watch these guys perform, and I love watching them on their come up. So that's going to be very exciting. Not a lot of fight news, but it's still some very good matchups that got announced. I'm honestly very excited for Bellator 300 as well. And before I get you guys out of here, here's some fights to watch this weekend, so you guys can't miss the Bellator card. To be honest, Bellator is also on tonight. I'm a big Bellator guy, and Bellator gets way too much hate, and I will say that until the day I die. Bellator gets way too much hate. Go watch their card tonight. It's going to be really fantastic. I love watching Bellator, and of course, we have the great UFC card, the return of Rafael dos Anjos, and the return of Vicente Luque. It's going to be a great weekend of fights, so do not miss both of those cards. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you are new here and you enjoy the content, we have this video out every single Friday where I keep you guys up to date on all things MMA related. But right now, if you'd like to continue watching the Clenbat channel, there'll be 2 videos on screen for you to check out right here. Check them out. I think they are pretty great. I will see you either there or in the next video, guys. Take care.